Okay, so I'm trying a little different angle this morning. We'll see how that works. It takes a few seconds for the thing to get going here. Ah, an ad for bearskin this morning. That's good. Good morning. And we are all in here. So I'll just wait for a few people to get on here. And we'll get started. Hey, Mike. How you doing this morning? Hi, Jesse. I assume you can both hear me. Yes. Okay, good. Thanks. It's always helpful to know that you're not talking as a mime all morning. I had those issues in the past. So I'm doing a little cleanup today, and this was something that I started to show you guys last week, and the other piece of wood that was holding this on before broke. It didn't break this part, but it broke this part. So I've reattached it, and I'm going to see what I can do with this. I have absolutely no. I'm sorry. Let me get this in the picture. I have absolutely no idea what this is going to do. Okay, I have none what this is going to look like. It's a crazy looking piece, and I have absolutely no assumptions going in as what I'm going to make out of it. This is going to be pear wood. This is a piece of pear. I turned it once before and it broke out here in the tenon, so I had to redo the tenon. And I was actually doing that the other day when I was talking to James from Soldier Farms, and we were going through a when he accidentally broke his tool rest while we were doing our live get together. So I mean, yeah, that's some torque, right? But he's going to get another one. But this will have some interesting color to it once we get it all done. It's got some kind of bluish streaks in here, and green and red and reds, and it's just kind of an interesting wood. Paris is a very interesting wood, and we have a lot of it around here. So it's going to be interesting to see. And I thought I'd try a couple different things, but this is just an experimental piece. So that's all this is today. Is we're going to be experimenting a little bit. So if you would please hit the like button. And of course, I know you guys are subscribed, but anybody that wants to subscribe, I would certainly appreciate it too. And at my wood turners meeting the other day, we got a lot of really nice free wood that I'm going to be turning in the next couple of weeks, including one. It's juniper, and some wood that I don't even know what it is because it's painted over. And until we get the paint off, we won't know what it is. It was painted over so it would not crack. The wood would not crack. Used latex paint on it, but yeah, it's going to be one of those things where we have to guess what the wood is. So let's see. And hopefully my trend works today. And I'm going to make a little foot for this one. First off, so let me get it up to speed. Oops. There we go. Let's just kind of play with getting a little foot on here. The skew is really good for something like that. If you want it to be flat, so I want it to be. I'm just going at this very lightly. We'll establish the foot. And then we'll come up, start the curve up from the foot. So, yeah, I think that'll work. All right. Now, and I've already got this pretty well smoothed out, so I'm going to be using my blow nose scraper. So you can do a little more scraper work. I'm going to try and bring it up here if I can. Just smooth it out. I want it to be a little more gentle, that curve in. Give it just a little bit of coating. I'll probably have to go back and address that foot one more time. I don't know, depending on how I can get that curve going in there. And let me get this other part done here. You can see we're pretty round. A little bit off right back in the back section a little bit. I'm going to give this a little bit of an hourglass, I think, to it. I think we'll give it just a little bit of an hourglass. The bull nose is really nice for that. It has a natural curved arc to it already. Down and then back up again. Okay, kind of got a little bit of a shape to it now. There we go. I can kind of refine that a little bit. And from here. Very lightly at the end here. There. Now it's got a little bit of a curve to it, I think. So we'll go from there. All right. That's already really smooth, by the way, without any sanding or anything. Scrapers do a really nice job of bringing it up a level. In fact, it actually shines here a little bit. So I think I can sand that from there. I got a little end grain right here. Let's see. See if I can work on that end grain just a touch. Just a very light touch. Yeah, that took, yeah, see, I took a little bit of that end grain feel off of there. It doesn't take much. It really doesn't. Okay. So we'll get a little sanding going here. And we'll be able to flip this around and hope that we're in good position this time. I don't want to do the outside of this with this because it will probably leave gouges in it. I want to work on that end grain just a little bit. Just a little bit. It was good to see Jamie up this morning and out there working. Hey, big dog, how you doing? Glad to have you in here. I know all you guys are busy at work or working on your Christmas gifts and things like that. And doggone if that battery isn't dying again on me. I'm gonna have to have a talk with Trend about this mask because the battery is not keeping a charge, even though I charge it for 14 hours. And I've said a lot of nice things about the company, and they've been really good about servicing me so far. But I can't have something where the battery charge doesn't work properly, especially when you're paying this kind of price for a helmet. It should last 15 minutes is not a charge that I'm happy with, and I need to look into that. So we'll put on this for the moment while I'm sanding, and I think I'll go to the next one here. This is by no means a big project or anything, but boy, I've got some big ones coming up. As far as large pieces of wood to turn, some of the pieces that I got this last week, I picked up a couple. Really, like, in fact, my wife picked up one. I'm surprised she got it in the car and brought it home to me. She must be taking her vitamins or something. I don't know. She brought me home a couple really big pieces. And we're laying in front of a church that was closed down. I guess they'd uprooted a tree, and it was just laying there. So we helped ourselves to a couple big pieces. Okay, that's coming out a lot shinier there. I can see a couple little tiny pithing places on that end grain. Let's see if we can maybe work those out as we go. They don't seem to be the ones that want to go away really quickly. Here. Please hit that like button if you can, or double tap your screen. It helps the channel a little bit. I know there's not a lot of people in here watching right now. They're probably all out Christmas shopping. And that's okay. I understand. But it looks like we got about 87 people in here right now. And it's early in the day. A lot of people are at work. Uh, it's a Tuesday, so you don't expect everyone to have free time. Hi, Trevin. Welcome in. So again, this is pear wood. You see, I got it nice and smooth right now. So let's put a little finish on it just to kind of take a look and see what it's going to look like. I think you'll like what you see. I think you'll like what you see. It's a very rich wood. We'll just kind of give it a quick one coat here, and this is nice dried wood at this point. And it should suck up some of this pretty good. Has a real nice rich color to it. Hey, Robert G. Hi, Jesse. Everybody coming in. Appreciate it. Please check out these guys' channels too. Whacking Shack and let's see, we got Robert G. You guys, your channel now in Big Dog. And guys, if you want to put your channel name up there, that's perfectly cool to do. If we can get those up there. It's also in my description, in the description area of this video. You can see the names of some of the guys that I work with regularly. And see, get the middle here. There we are. I was at our wood turners meeting here on Saturday for our local wood turners group, and in a spur of inspiration, I raised my hand when they asked if they needed a new newsletter writer, and I said, "Sure, I'll do it." And then I realized nobody had really been doing a newsletter for a while, so I have to kind of reinvent the thing a little bit. I mean, they've been doing it, but only kind of as a letter from the president kind of thing, not as a newsletter. So I don't know if you have to change the focus at all, but took on another responsibility. Also, I took on the responsibility of helping mentor people in my area, new turners and so forth. So, what do you think of this? So I did like 3 new turners in the last month or so, and I'm going to be doing a lot more turners in the future around here. We seem to keep growing new members all the time in the immediate vicinity, so that's really good. And that's good for the long-term growth of the group. So, all right, so there's the color, and you can see what it looks like. And it does need some more sanding. It also has you can also see the dry spots on the end grain where it's already soaked that in. It's not coming on my fingers. Yeah, all that oil I just put on there is already pretty much gone. It's all soaked into the wood. And I don't want to do a bunch of layers right now, but I will just kind of polish that off a bit. Here we go. I think I need to get a new belt for my lathe here soon. It's starting to make a little slapping sound, like it's gotten a little stretched out over time, and that happens. You do need to do that. And I want to tell you right now, it is not a fun project to replace the belt because you have to take your old shaft out in most cases to get to it. Very easy to screw something up. So I probably will not be doing that on a live because I don't want to have that much cussing going on when I do it. Now I'm going to do a little something I don't always do here, but I'm gonna put this truck on and do a test run while I still have the faceplate on, in case I need to go back and make any changes to this. And I might. So I'm gonna just somewhat tighten it, not tighten real hard. Keep it on a slow speed, and we just want to turn it just to see if it's turning true, and it is turning real true. Good. Good. Now I feel more confident in taking the faceplate off. And get this drill and clean it off. Okay. Let's see here. We had a big conversation the other day about face plates versus using the wood nut that comes with your chuck. And while a lot of people did say that the consensus is that now face plates are kind of old-fashioned, I disagree with that to a point because depending on the wood you're turning, especially if it's green wood, I want to have more of a hold on that thing than the screw going into a green wood piece, because green wood tears and gives up. So if you're using any kind of a green wood, I would always use a faceplate personally. And honestly, I don't see any reason not to use a faceplate for a lot of my turnings. Not all. There's a place for every kind of a piece of equipment. Yeah, I'm still on. Okay. But I would really say that sometimes people get logged into just one type of doing things, and wonder sometimes, is that the best way, or is that the right way, depending on the wood that you're turning. So just give that a little bit of consideration when you're doing it. Okay, let's see if I got the right height here. Put the drills away so I don't knock them on the floor again. Lately I've been knocking things down a lot. I don't know if that's old age or stupidity or a little bit of both. Just kind of getting a feel for, is my tool in the right spot. I'm not going up to speed yet or anything. I'm just kind of getting an idea of the roundness. We can work on that. I can work on this outer edge a little bit. Okay. Let me get rid of that bump bit there. Let's see. Just humor me here for a second. I see a little tiny bit of wobble I didn't see before. It could be the way the teeth are engaging with the wood. Yeah, that looks better. Okay. Never hurts to double check yourself. We don't have things flying off our tools, tool rests, and off our gouges. Hi, Ivan. Got to go out in the snow for a few. Okay, great. It's not snowing here. It's about 42 degrees out here, but it's not snowing. We've had overcast for 2 weeks. It's been great. We have seen probably 1 hour of the sun in about 3 of the different days, and that's about it. So it's been pretty tight as far as sunlight goes. But it's kind of weird being gloomy. I'd almost rather it would snow or rain or something rather than just be dull like this. And you can see this turns an awful lot like walnut does. It has a lot of the same characteristics as walnut. And that's to be expected. Yeah. Yeah, that turns pretty nicely, doesn't it? What do you think of that? You have snow everywhere. Well, yeah, it doesn't usually snow just in one spot. It does hit everything. I remember one of my favorite Christmases. My wife and I just going outside of our. We lived in a mobile home at the time in a very snowy area, and for those of you that don't have snow, if you don't know, when it snows, it blocks sound. So we were about a mile or so from a highway, but you could usually hear the road traffic on the highway. And you could not hear anything. In fact, the only thing you could hear outside was our feet in the snow. That's the only sound you heard. It deafened every other sound. And we were surrounded by national forests, but we were in the city limits, so deer would come down because they knew they couldn't get shot in town, and deer would just wander the streets and come around and eat your bushes and stuff. And we used to have a deer that liked to come down and lay down and rest on our lawn in the front yard. And I remember our cat going outside, and he wasn't sure what to make of the deer. He he wasn't going to be aggressive with it, but he didn't because it was much bigger. But he also didn't want to, wondered why is this deer in my yard? So it caused him a lot of consternation. He kept looking over at me and meowing like I was supposed to fix something. I was just enjoying the view because it was pretty funny. Our neighbor next door had a cat that had awkwardly sized legs. He had really large back legs, and what would happen is as he would run, his legs would catch up with him, and he would spin around, and he'd run a little bit and spin around again because his back legs caught up with his front legs, and he'd have to readjust. And so you'd see in the snow, you'd see these swirls where you'd see cat print, swirl, cat print, cat foot, swirl, over and over again. I'm at about 700 right now. Yeah, yeah. Shoveling snow is not one of my favorite things, especially where we live because it was really wet snow. It wasn't dry snow. We got really wet snow, and wet snow is just it's miserably heavy, as I'm sure you guys know. You get those snows off the Great Lakes or something, they're pretty bad. We were in the Pacific Northwest. We were in the Northern California. We were next to a Mount Shasta. We were at about 5,000 feet, 4,000, 5,000, depending where you were. It used to be funny because there was 11,000-foot mountains on the other side of the valley, and so we would sit there and we'd watch the snow actually start coming down, and from the top of the mountains down as it was coming into the valley floor. You could actually watch the snow and the ground turning white as it got towards us. It's really an interesting view. Okay, so now we're getting to the interesting part. We've got to keep our form, and I'm getting a little bit off form here. I don't really do come to Jesus speed. especially when I'm working with a wood that I'm not as familiar with. You're trying to shovel snow before it fell from the sky? I'm not sure. That's funny though. Yeah, I know most of you guys live in snow country. I'm living in in Central California, where in all the years I've been here, it snowed once. It snowed for about 5 minutes, and that was about it. And I came from San Diego, where it snowed one time, and it snowed, of course, during PE. You know, we're out there in our PE clothes, and it starts to snow. We were doing calisthenics in the snow, and then. But people think that San Diego doesn't get cold. I'm here to tell you it does. I worked. I worked as a nighttime security guard, and I was working one was a Christmas night, and it was 12 degrees in San Diego. 12. So 12 degrees Fahrenheit. So if anybody tells you it doesn't ever get cold in Southern California, that's not completely true. Now I've been in minus 15 also in Minnesota, so that's even colder. There is a degree. It's not like cold doesn't get any colder. Cold does get colder. You get to minus 15, and by golly, you're talking about life-threatening temperatures at that point. Yeah, we got a nice thin edge right there. See, so I'm trying to preserve that as I go down. I think I'm gonna try. I don't like getting in there with this tool. I'm gonna see if I can go to a smaller one. I don't know if this will work, but I'll give it a try. Oops, sorry. This is a tool I don't use as often, so. Okay. Let's see if I can get you a little bit better angle here. That a little better. Okay. You can see a little better what I'm doing. Okay. Make sure I'm not finding anything unusual in there. Nope. No problem so far. Oh, I've seen a couple of wormholes here. There's one right there. And we're about halfway through the bottom of this. Get in there a little bit. It's not. Not trying to get fat in the bottom there. There. My wife is going to be going out of town for a few days to visit family for Christmas. So I'll probably be doing a few more lives later this week. I always do one on Thursday. But there might be a few others. Since I have the shop all to myself. Yeah, we're starting to get a little rough here, so I need a smoother cut. Ooh, don't want to catch it. Don't want to catch that. Now, let me see. I might need to go in here with a scraper. Sorry. Scraper. And clean out those sides just a little bit. Clean that up just a little bit. Because it's a little bulby out here, I'm trying to get that bulby look inside here. That's the outside of the hole. And let me see what that looks like. Yeah, see, it feels like you're going in, but you actually aren't yet. I'm only actually right here. I'm right about here on the bowl. I'm just starting to get into that bubble area, and I got to be kind of careful how I do it. So I'm going to be widening out the bottom. I'm not going too much more in depth. And yes, you can do this with a carbide too. You could. I think the carbide's a little bit more aggressive, and you could actually take out something you didn't want to take out. I think a wider scraper than a carbide actually does a better job of smoothing it. This is very smooth right here. You don't feel any ripples. If you're using carbide, you'd have little ringlets that you're going through. Now, I'm getting, I feel I can say I'm right about here. And you can do that. Your fingers are good at doing that. So I can feel I'm right here. And I'm widening out. I need to widen this out right there and then go back in. So I'm going to work on widening that out just a little bit. I may not be able to get completely widened out there, but I'm going to try as best I can. And see, there goes the other trend battery after about 20 minutes. That's just not right. Those things both charge for about a day each, and they should not be going out after 20 minutes. So I'm gonna have to have a conversation with them about that. Okay, I can get this in there a little bit closer. That would help. And I'm getting some little wormholes here. And I am getting down quite a bit. If I was to do this, yeah, I'm getting down here, so I don't want to go into the miter tenon that I have on the inside. I got to be careful of that. Yeah, I think I'm pretty thin throughout most of this. I got a little bit of cleanup to do right there. Let's see how that goes. It's pretty thin. You can actually hear how thin that is. And just want to take a little bit more off the bottom here, and I think we'll be able to call this good. Remember how I said you can hear how thin you are inside sometimes? You hear that tone set change? That means that I'm pretty thin right there. I'm good. That's pretty good. I can live with that. Okay. I think my depth is good. If I was to measure, I'm right about here. Yeah, I could go just a little bit more. Okay. Yep, there you go. I think that's where we stop. I don't want to go any further than that, or we might be looking at playing peekaboo. So I'll call that good. And this is a nice reforming of a bowl that was kind of set aside because it had some problems to it. We do still have this crack here, which I just never wanted to deal with. I'm just going to leave it the way it is. It's just a crack. Okay, let's get a little bit of sanding on the inside just to kind of smooth out a bit, and we should be able to go on to finishing this thing. Turn that down just a little bit. Oh, let me turn the fan on. Doesn't do any good to have a dust collector if you don't use it. Yeah, it's really dusty wood. Yeah. Good. Okay. Do it in reverse. You get the fibers going the other direction. Hello to the rest of you, and please, if you can, hit the like button. I'd appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed, that'd be appreciated too. It doesn't cost you anything to subscribe, and you'll be notified when we're doing our lives. And we do have a lot of different things we turn here, and we go through a lot of different little learning curves for people, and try and teach a few tips along the way. Yeah, pretty dusty. Okay, I think we got that sanded out. All right, just get this vacuum on it for just a second. I know it's a little loud. I'd like to get some of the wood shavings out of the way before we put the finish on. And we'll be able to move on to the next project right away. I have these rubber mats down here that I want to stand on to kind of take the fatigue out of my legs, and I always seem to kick them out of the way instead. Stupid me, but that's what I do sometimes. Okay, so now let's get the inside of this, and we'll be able to see what this bowl actually looks like when we get it all fixed up here. Okay. And I'll take it off here and I'll show it to you. This is going to take a couple coats. It's not going to be just a one coat thing, but just to give you some idea of what this looks like when you're. Boy, it's already soaking it up. It's already soaked up most of that I put in there. It's already gone. Put some on the outside. And then we'll put some more on the inside after it's soaked in for a second. And this is tung oil, if you wanted to know. This is tung oil with some linseed, which is a citric uh, based, citrus based oil. It's good for cleaning, and it's also good for. It smells great, first of all, and it does thin out just the tung oil just a little bit, and it absorbs into the wood. And what happens with the tung oil is it gets in there, and when it dries, it actually strengthens the fibers of the wood, so it works as a long-term hardener for the wood, hardening the fibers in there. Okay, so that's that. Now there are some dull sides on this, and it's going to be that way because that's the end grain, and the end grain is going to look dull unless we polish it up somehow. So what I'm going to do here in just a second, I'm going to let that soak in. I'll wipe off the excess. I'll get on the inside here. Okay. Wasn't much excess to take off, that's for sure. Now let me get a little of the I think we'll do a little of the tried and true, which is linseed oil and beeswax. And we'll put a little of that on here. And that obviously won't be a gloss finish. It will be a kind of a bright, flat, matte finish. You might say, I don't know, burnished finish, maybe the way to describe it. But this will also feed that end grain and take out a little of that dry look that it has against the sandy or more sanded side grain. Okay. That on there for now. Let me get on the inside a little bit. Okay. We'll get in here. Okay. We'll do a little of this. That will saturate it in there. Okay. Now let me spin this up just a bit on the outside. When you speed it up, what you do is you get a little bit of friction work where it kind of melts the beeswax and melts the other oils a little bit to ingrain them into the wood a little bit more. Brings out a little bit of that sheen. Okay. Let's take it off of here and we'll show you what it looks like. I'll pull this back just a little bit. And here, boy, that is a light bowl. But here's what it looks like. You can see the colors, the motion in the wood here. I think that looks really good. What do you think, guys? You like that? So that is a very light. This doesn't weigh more than an ounce or two. I got it pretty close to the bottom there. I'd say, oh yeah, I'm pretty darn close to the bottom. This is about little over, might be like little between 1/8 and 1/4 of an inch. It's very, very thin, and it's stable. It should stay in this position. It should not be a big one. So I liked the way the shape came out on that one. Just made it into a nice bowl. There's the bottom of it. So put a little oil on that too, just to finish things off. But there we go. Down on the bottom end here. Great. And that's our bowl. I'll let that sit for a day or two and soak up the poly or the beeswax and probably put another coat on it. And we'll call it good. Okay, so that's one down. And now the other one, this is the sketchy one. This is the one where we're not sure. Thank you, Dan. Appreciate that. We're not sure what's going to happen with this. And I'm even concerned. To be honest with you, I'm not sure what this will do. This is not going to have a back. This is going to be the top, and whatever it becomes. Right now, what I was doing at first was just kind of getting the this down a bit because it was really high. It was way up here, and so I was trying to get it down. I'm not going to be able to round it because it would take away from 90% of the rest of this. So I don't know what it's going to be. I just don't. It may be nothing. It may be just something that you practice with your tools and call it good and toss it in the trash can, or toss it in the fireplace. Yeah, well, I'm getting into Mike's whacking shack territory here a little bit. This is a little bit on the shaky side, but that's how you learn, right? It's just how you learn how to do things. I'm gonna have to put a different mask on since I can't wear the one that I like to wear. I'll put this on. At least it provides some level of protection. So let's see. Let's get it up to speed a little bit. And now you can see, well, it really looks weird when you're turning it. Because now I got, this is the centerpiece right here. And everything's spinning around that. So I got to take this down a little bit more at least. So we're going to kind of go into it like so. There's the center. We're going to have to kind of come out like that. Just kind of getting a feel for it. I'll turn up the speed here in just a second. I just wanted to see where we're at. Okay. I think we can turn up the speed. Now we're getting shaky. There's no way to undercut this. You just have to kind of go with it. Not sure what's going ding, 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 ding. Might be this. Yeah, okay. Let me see if I can bring this in a little bit more. The closer I can bring the tool rest in, the more comfortable I am, because then it means that I'm not extending over the tool rest. And I can see better how I'm drawing my line. Now, one of the things you can do, and I'm going to do a little trick here, you never want your fingers on the other side of this tool rest. Tool rest is the border line for you. So, see what's going on here. Oh, yeah. So the tool rest is your guardrail. So you don't want your fingers anytime over the tool rest. Okay. So if I have the tool over the tool rest, and I can look and see it's right about here, then I can use that as my line going all the way across to see that I'm getting pretty straight. I'm not like, because a lot of times you can tend to come like this, and you'll come up and you'll be just barely touching it here. So you want to get this flattened out. You have to kind of get an idea of where you are in your line, and then draw that all the way out here. Okay. So I should be relatively straight at this point from the center. Okay. Now, let's see. If I go in here and I start making a hole, I can make a hole out to about here. Let's see. Just trying to get my parameters of where a hole could be. Okay. Let's see where that is. Okay, I'm hitting here. I'm not hitting anything here, but I'm hitting here, and I'm not going over this edge. So I'm going to stay right to that, I think, as I go in. Oh, that's not good. Did anything get? Oh, yep. Interesting. Before this becomes a problem, I'll show you what's going on here. It actually pulled out of the tool rest of the faceplate. These screws unscrewed themselves out of the faceplate. So I will attempt to get them back in. I don't know if they will hold. We'll have to see. See, they're going in too easy. That makes me worry. See? So, yeah, they're longer screw. And I have a choice here. This is about a 1/4 of an inch longer. It may go into the wood just a little bit, but maybe it won't be right now. Interesting. Okay. Well, we will just keep this one coming out. Because this was an experiment after all, right? We're just going deeper. See if I can find a couple more screws of that side here. Bear with me, folks. We are fixing things on the fly. Remove this one. I don't want these coming loose, so we're going with deeper screws. Okay. One more. Well, you think I could find one, wouldn't you? Here we are. Here we are. This is really long. This is going to be overkill. But I don't care at this point. I just don't want to get it in there. No, that's too much. Bear with me. I just don't want to use. I don't want to use a screw. I can help it. See if I can use this one. Here we go. That should hold it. Fingers crossed, right? Fingers crossed. Interesting. Interesting. Okay, we're going to give this another shot. Like I said, I might be just shooting up the wrong tree here altogether. But we're going to give it a shot. Oops. Dumb me. That doesn't help with any. It's going slow right now. I don't think this is holding. Put that down just a little bit more. can get the feel. It's coming around. It's hitting where I'm getting. I'm going to get into the wood here pretty quick. That will make it feel a lot better. Just need to get past this part where it's not. And if you're wondering, this is a piece of oak, and it's hard wood. I'm around 600 right now. Most people, they don't want something flying all the way across the shop. It's loose. Check my things, they're still staying on. That's good. That's good to know. Okay. You never know. You never know for sure. So, hey, Boondock, Jamie, how you doing? Glad you're up and about. Hope you're feeling better, and hope they can figure out what's going on, buddy. Uh, I appreciate you jumping in while you're while you're eating lunch, and I know that rice and chicken's probably getting a little boring, but you know, maybe going on a bland diet like you do for an ulcer might be the first start. That might be the first start. And look at this way, it's a way to lose a couple pounds, right? Okay, let's see where we're at now. We are now at the edge here, and we're inside here, so we are now actually making a bowl. Sorry, we're making a hole anyway. We're not making a bowl, we're making a hole. So that's progress. Okay. So I'm gonna see. I can't angle with this. As long as I have this in the way, I can't really do anything because even if I come out here, it's still the same problem, no matter what I do with my tool rest. So that becomes the issue. So might have to take a different approach with the tool rest. We'll look at it as we go. When we take off the work, tell you what, it feels dull. I'm gonna have to sharpen this real quick because it's like dull. Wasn't even paying attention to that. You know, when you're turning, there's a lot of different things you need to be paying attention to besides just turning the wood. You got to be making sure your tools are sharp, that your tools are in the right position, that you're in the right position, and that You're thinking safety all the time. The minute you stop thinking about safety is the minute everything goes wrong. But even when you are thinking safety, things can go wrong. It just gets that much more magnified and worse if you're not. Yeah, that's a little sharper. Let's see if this does anything without gouging in it. Cool. Now, if I thought it would help, I would use a Forstner bit here and just go in with a Forstner bit, but that kind of takes the whole fun out of being a turner, right? In this case. Okay, go ahead and take off, Jamie. We'll talk to you later. Yeah, please hit the like button. I think we're at about, close to 100 or something. I can't see. But I'd like to at least get 100 likes, at least a few people in here. So please do hit that like button. Now we're starting to get some of that nice color in here from that wood too.